Welcome to another Duos and Dark Calls match. Today, as you can see, as you likely just saw, we are playing. We have Skybreaker96 playing as the hunters to represent Team Dark Horse, while we have Wckaczek playing as Dracula to represent. I have no idea why he and his teammate selected this name, but they chose to call their team the greatest player in the history of humankind in the galaxy, and his humble sidekick. If I recall, I may have said that slightly wrong, but you get the point. Very what some might call vain team name. Definitely interest. I believe that Skybreaker and his teammate Adam, although he has a different in-game name that's a bit difficult to read, hence why I'm going with Adam. They have the team named Dark Horse because, well, in the World League, Adam is a newcomer, although from what I hear, he's a pretty strong player. Despite that, and Skybreaker did not fare the best in the World League, so I suspect that's why they chose the name Dark Horse. They are one of the teams that, at least on the surface, appear to be made up of two weaker players. On the surface, of course. So let's see what happens. Let the usual week 1 supply train begin. Let's get started. Unfortunately, I don't have any co-com today, so it's... Oh, Harker. Neat. Okay, so in the event he doesn't find a newspaper, at least he has Harker to help him out. Yeah. And then, also, in the event it's a central start, among this maze of connections, Harker can always be very helpful to discern precisely what order you need to do things. Okay, excellent weather and Holy Circle. Holy Circle is not perhaps the most interesting thing, but excellent weather on the other hand. But that actually does have some... I unfortunately won't have any time to read chat unless... so I won't be able to see your remarks since I have only one laptop, and so has multiple different devices so as to have multiple screens. But, well, at the very least I can give you the neutral perspective of this match. Wckaczek and Skybreaker are both recording their perspectives as well, from what I heard. Or at the very least Wckaczek. Not 100% certain about Sky, but yeah. So, how do I feel about this match? I suppose you might want to know. I mean, simply due to their team name, which I am almost 100% certain it was Wckaczek's idea. I almost want to see this tournament go where Terminus is just like Geo carried Scott's sword as it in the previous team's tournament. I kind of want to see Terminus carry a Wckaczek, just because that would be rather hilarious. Because due to their team name, Wckaczek is kind of claiming to be the greatest player in the world, even though he did not compete in the last World League. So he does. he has not competed since actually he was in the previous team's tournament, but he did not. But he and his teammates did not fare the best. But that being said, Wckaczek is a very strong player, both in Hunters and Dracula. I consider him, along with Pizza Wizard and Scotsword, to be the three best. But that being said, Sky is a very seasoned hunter. He's been, from what I am told, he has been around since even before Scotsword was, if I recall what I was told correctly. So he is no newcomer to this game. He may not have as much skill as others, but he knows the games, the mechanics, what sort of things to look out for. That being said, there's, with the additional element of the Dark Hall rule, which, for those who do not yet know, this tournament is called Duos and Dark Halls because the Dark Hall ability, which typically is take 2 damage, draw 5 encounter cards, and stay in place. You have to place it up on the trail there, obvious, and then draw the top event card. If it is a hunter card, throw in the discard. If it is a drag event, take it. And you get to hide what it is, at least, unless it's a play immediately card. There's this or that. There's various different ways to do it. The neat twist to this tournament, so that it isn't an exact encore of last year's tournament, the hunters from time to time may have to worry about things about Dracula events they may not usually care about, like Dracula McIntyre a hoax. He took something. Why is that going to be something? Why is that going to be wild horses? Why is that going to be false tip? That's another thing about Wckaczek. Wckaczek, along with Spencer Wolfhart, is one who sometimes goes for lair stratagems, and along with Spencer Wolfhart, they are like the only two in the community who can do it consistently. It does leave them vulnerable to the newspaper one day sooner, but it's still, but it can yield good results if the gamble pays off. That's one more layer that you get to cycle for. If nothing else, it's one more layer you get to cycle for card cycling purposes. Whoa, whoops. Didn't mean to. Okay, what? We already have a stake discard. That's curious. Seems he's drawing a lot of good stuff then. Oh, newspaper, Klausenberg. And yeah, that's why typically we misdirect our starting location. But for lair stratagem, you have to not do so. But now, hunters know where he is already, even though it's only day 3. Let us say that had been drawn next day, and then this would have been flipped over. Anyway, it's not all unusual for newspaper to reveal your trail one way or another, but had he misdirected that, they would have had to wait till dusk when this card was all the way over here. Unless, of course, they drew another newspaper. But I am operating on the assumption when I may say that they don't get another one. It's simple. In truth, it's just as simple as that. When it comes to the lair stratagem, it's a risk reward type thing. But because now the hunters know that he's over in the east, and well, they can prepare accordingly. Seward can start moving sooner rather than later. Van Helsing can come off England sooner rather than later if he so wishes. But of course, it is far from over. Just knowing Dracula's whereabouts is not enough. You have to have the correct items, good enough sufficient events to back you up if your hands are less than optimal. It is. I mean, this is just the beginning. Yeah, so I'm kind of like I said earlier. I'm kind of hoping that Terminus ends up carrying Wckaczek. So I'm actually hoping that Skybreaker wins this. Because it would be just so amusing to have have the results at the end make it look like Terminus is the one being referred to as the greatest player in the world and the history of humankind or whatever it is, and Wckaczek being the humble sidekick. that'd be extremely amusing. So I'm kind of hoping for it. Which may be a little bit mean to root for Skybreaker for such a reason like that. But also, well, I mean, Skybreaker had a rough time in the World League, as I mentioned. That happened in the 2012. That happened in fall of 2024. So, well, not only am I like hoping that someone who's good loses, I'm hoping that someone who's had a rough time in previous tournaments starts off on a good note for the tournament. Like, I speak as like in the league to explain why I definitely feel a little bit sorry for Skybreaker is that he and I ended up in the league phase facing off against each other twice, in two separate rounds, which means that we had a total of 4 games between us, and I ended up winning all 4. So a lot of his trouble came from me. So I'll give him what at least psychological support I can for this one, unless he is facing me, of course, or my partner, of course. Okay, so Ladang discarded a blood transfusion as well as a rifle and holy bullets, so that's all 3 bullets gone. It does always seem a little bit strange to me when using excellent weather this early. I would have just moved by sea. It's better to save that for like going into England or like hopping across the Adriatic Sea. Like going from Venice to all the way to Bologna. Or vice versa. Basically, there are definitely better uses for that than getting Van Helsing back on land one day sooner. With Van Helsing, you can definitely take your time. So definitely a potentially a mistake. I mean, it may end up saving him the game if Van Helsing ends up turning the tide of a battle which he wouldn't have been able to reach without that little bit of extra movement. So, I mean, but more often than not, it's just better to do it in 2 separate movements at this early stage of the game. Okay, yeah, working on horse economy. Very, very standard. Yeah, this is the part of the game where I definitely miss having a commentator, a co-com on the most. Nothing much happening. Both players storing up their stuff, preparing encounters, getting items, and we don't know a thing about what's happening, apart from the fact that Wckaczek began at Skybreaker. So, yeah, we're just waiting for the next big reveal. When will the hunters move, and so on. It's always a bit of a. It's not in Austro-Hungary, so he's over in Baltica then. Unless, if that's the first psychic stand they did, supposedly it went Szeged, Zagreb, Munich. Not impossible. If he scanned before and I didn't comment on it because and I didn't see it, then yeah, I mean, if Goldon's items are reasonable, then I would say just check out Zagreb real quick. See if that's the case. Okay, that'll do much the same. Well, not quite, as it could be Budapest, Zagreb, Munich as well. This could be interesting. Okay, I'm guessing this is something like a horse trade over here in Paris. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if my guess for this rune token would be that it's at Galatz with a hide card. I mean, we will eventually know because there is Harker to keep in mind. That it is there, so Wckaczek will know that Skybreaker will eventually know exactly where it is hiding. Oh, Mia has charred carriage now, I see. I'm not sure how I feel about Holy Circle. That's not the sort of thing. I mean, it's Holy Circle isn't bad, like it, but carrying an item like that around, especially revealed, it's Holy Circle is definitely better when you can keep it as a bit of a surprise. Like I would actually sooner reveal a knife than that because like Dracula, regardless who is playing Dracula, they will expect you to have a knife on Mina. So why not just say, look, here it is. I mean, but something that's a bit more unusual, like Holy Circle, on the other hand, it it the it's not since that is basically an item escape route. Okay, let's see. Does he have a newspaper to tell him one day sooner? If he does, he elected not to play it. Let's see my... Considering that they've been moving by rail, I would guess that's... okay. Not at Galatz. So, did he slip it through here and make it out of Austro-Hungary just in time? Or did he go to Bucharest? And I suppose it could also be Belgrade as well. Yeah, this... Scouts, okay. That's definitely nice. Can help you clarify what all he's doing. Okay, he recently went to Sofia. Okay, so that seems to say that he went to Bucharest and then went Black Sea coast. Until we see what, on the assumption that this isn't a bait and that it is really a vampire, then we can have a until we see what type of vampire this is, on the assumption that it's not a bait and it really is a vampire, then it... Okay. We can assume that it... The fact that there was no ambush seems to say that it's an aristocratic, but then again... Wckaczek, I have been seeing Wckaczek in the past, even this... make people think it's an aristocratic so that they try to save their stake, and then they have to fight night fight something. Mind you, Mina has a holy circle, so worst comes to worst, she can always use that. Very, very funny, Gyro. Sleepy Mouse from Red Bog is one of Captain Gyro's alias identities, if I recall correctly. No. I had half expected that, considering that Wckaczek loves messing around with bats. So Mina has a stake, a heavenly host, and something else. That's not exactly the best hand. But, alright. The thing is that Wckaczek could be about to move right back into that lair and punt Mina into him for a one-on-one night fight. But the fact that she has a holy circle should be get her out of this trouble. But So So at least for now, the hunters are keeping up with the initial trail. But we don't know where Dracula is going. Chances are he's actually heading towards Munich now. But then again, with it being Wckaczek, I'm not sure. Belgrade, oh. Oh no. Classic Wckaczek. Discarded her stake to take less damage? Oh dear. Uh-oh. Okay. This is not good for... I mean, mind you, there are pros and cons to this method. If Mina manages to slip away from here, I know she'll be able to escape one combat, but since she is being influenced by bats again, once Dracula moves, he'll punt her into him again to provoke another fight, and then if she still doesn't have anything, and it's possible that Van Helsing might be able to find her an escape route and then trade that to her. Uh, that would definitely be good, because then Wckaczek's scheme is just foiled. Yeah. Yeah, now we'll get to see what Mina's last item is. She does have a knife. Okay. Oh, but wait, that's actually... Right, that's not how it works. One thing that's that may be a little bit off in Wckaczek's calculations is the fact that since the delay aid takes effect first, so she won't be moving anywhere, but she won't be getting batted into a new city until the delay has worn off. So she won't be moving except by night tomorrow. So therefore, I think that Dracula will likely, even though there's no Drac event on top, he may do a dark call. That way he can do a daytime fight, and then another night fight. Yeah, this is a very risky ploy by Wckaczek. I mean, it's definitely very dangerous to do this type of thing, because look at this. He just cleared off that bit of the trail for them. He just cleared, so that's now 2 more spaces that they don't have to worry about at all. Once they clear this bit, here, which I assume Godalming is going to be taking responsibility of doing, they can focus solely on him. Yeah, I think that Dracula may be planning to do a dark call tonight, then move and bat Mina into him. I mean, it's a very daring ploy, but especially since the hunters won't lose all that much. They will lose a knife. Even if Mina dies, it's really not that bad. They're losing 1 ticket, a knife. I mean, the knife, sure, that's not pleasant to lose, and a charter carriage. Which charter carriage, while it is kind of a middle of the road event, so it's really not the worst thing. It's not as if it's like a renewed vigor CG or anything, or forewarned or so on. There are quite a few things that would be far worse to lose. Returning to his lair at Klausenberg. Yeah, so this is what it is often like to play against Wckaczek. He'll now just go circling about in this just tight circle. So now he'll bat Mina. So now, oh wait, the delay wore off by a night. Crap. Yeah, Mina is definitely in trouble. So now she'll get batted into Klausenberg, and with only a knife, and she'll have to try to survive with only a knife. Which is definitely not an exciting prospect. So, I mean, that being said, that means that the encounters at Klausenberg are more likely to be things like wolves, bodyguards, damaging encounters, things that really don't matter much if they mature. So, okay. This may seem strange, but what I would do with Gul'daming is I would move him to Bucharest, because the reason being for that is the next stop for Dracula, if he wants to continue this playstyle, is Bucharest, but you can arrange it so that he can't lay down another encounter. He can't make it so that there's 2 encounters, like he did at Klausenberg. So it might be correct. Like, the best way to fight against this particular Dracula playstyle typically is to break up the cycle. Mind you, this means that more likely than not, he's going to lair Constanta and then wolf form there. Just skipping over this time around. And then he can just keep going round and round and round until Seward and Van Helsing get over here to help just relieve the pressure. Yeah, I see that Skybreaker is thinking along similar lines as I am. Yeah, this is a playstyle that this is a Dracula playstyle that you'll like really only see that you are only really all that likely to see it if you're playing against Wckaczek or Spencer Wolfhart. It's a tough one to. It's definitely a tough one to beat, to be sure. And you can already see why. Yeah, where are all the horses, I wonder? Yeah, I think it's possible that Skybreaker just moved too early. And I think that he should have just accepted it. Sure, I'll let you have the 7 points in Bucharest or Galatz, and tried to dig for horses, just better items in general. Oh no! Yeah, rats. Okay. And new vampire. Oh boy. Yeah. The nice thing about the rats encounter card, which is that it guaranteed deals damage whether or not they have the pistol or rifle. The only way it does not deal damage is if the hunter has dogs. Which is except sometimes with Seward, it is unlikely to happen. Oh dear, this is quite possibly just going to be torture for Mina, and Skype. Well, and just the hunters in general. This is quite possibly going to be a torturous first game for Skybreaker. Let me put it this way: I've had to play against this particular Dracula before, and it is not really, and it is definitely not fun. Okay, yeah, she played that to play around Fangs, as that would have killed her, since she was already mesmerized. Okay. So Wckaczek, most likely than not, is. Oh no, it wouldn't have killed her. It's daytime. What am I saying? I think that I would try to escape here. Okay. And yeah, Sky agrees, but unfortunately, this means that unless they have a great strength, then this is Mina's almost practically doomed. Either that or perhaps an escape route if. Well, no, they already lost their window to give that to her. Yeah, so I would just escape and just hope and pray that he did not draw either Mesmerize or Claws. it's yeah, this is going to be very rough. Okay, and now what's worse, Fangs will also make the kill now. Now that it's a night fight, it will bite her, and that'll kill her. Gracious. Just scary memories of playing against Wckaczek coming back. Okay, playing knife. And here's the interesting thing. Dracula is now free to just escape as a bat if he wants. But I seriously doubt he'll do that, to be honest. It's just, oh no. And what's worse, here's a funny thing. Okay, yeah, that's it. Oh, I thought he had just played dodge. Whoops, my bad. But if Dracula plays another clause, that Mina's down. Okay. But here's a funny thing. If Mina somehow survive, on the assumption that Mina does die, which, okay, plotting, did knife, okay, so at the very least, Mina will go down fighting. She could have actually escaped there. It looks as if Wckaczek's been very unlucky with his hand. But now he can cancel whatever card she plays, and it can just fang her, as that means he gets one extra influence point due to the mesmerized fangs combo. Okay. Oh, but she does have great strength. Oh, wow. So he gets a point, but he does not kill her. But here's what but now I can show you what I was talking about. If she had died, she would spawn here at Budapest, and he could actually go move into Budapest, lay down an encounter. She comes out of the hospital, and oops, she has to fight Dracula again. It could have been just that great strength has helped break up the cycle. She will not tomorrow, so long as she survives the daytime fight against Drac, then she will be free to move about and heal, resupply, and so on. Gracious. So many just memories, terrifying memories of having to face this myself. It is not pleasant. And on top of being able to orchestrate such shenanigans, such like these, Wckaczek is also a very adept hunter. There are, yep, showing Varna. Oh, mature. Oh boy! Thank goodness for me that he hadn't matured that quite yet. Oh, doing Dark Call. Tossing away. Oh, it's face down. So we'll never know what that was. Doing Dark Call to stay in place so he can do a daytime fight. Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. Wonder if that was CG. Okay, and now that the bodyguard just flat out kills her because she doesn't have a weapon. So Yeah, since he got a bodyguard's material, he gets a free kill. So there's just... Oh wait, no, she does have a knife. So, but to escape from this without taking any damage is a very, very tall ask. So... This is... Yeah, to escape from any combat without taking any damage is a very tall ask for... and they've spent the great strength, so... But the good news for them is it took him playing... He had to commit all of this to killing one hunter. Okay, guessed wrong. Okay, he healed up the damage from the Dark Call in doing so. So finally, Wckaczek got his prize. But I'm actually guessing that he's going to do just what I described earlier and go to Budapest next. Because he didn't layer Constanta, he matured that for the bodyguards. Oh, what? Oh boy, I don't know if I would have done that if I were you. Heroic leap, perhaps. This could be just disastrous for Skybreaker. Yeah. Provoking endless 1v1s with Dracula is not the best idea. I mean, it's possible that Goldong may have a heroic leap to just start whittling Drac down a little, but since Dracula used a Fangs attack and not a feed to heal up, he still has that available. So heroic leap would not be that bad for Dracula. I could definitely see, like, if heroic leap happens, I could definitely see Wckaczek casually doing a casual feed and then possibly killing Goldaming. In a strange way, it's almost good for Dracula that it took him that long to kill Nina, because that meant that we got to week 2 before she died, which meant he got one more influence from it. A very strange way, but in a way, it was better for Dracula. At least long term, it was better for Dracula that it happened that way, if he can manage. Okay, Stuart Van Helsing, you best head over there and help out. Or at least one of them. I would imagine that one of them will stay behind to like get events and such. He is defeated, and here's the worst thing about that: since that was a dawn fight, she won't respawn until the following dawn. Okay, Lucy's Revenge and Planned Ambush. Okay, that is pretty strong, but it's still a 1v1. So, if I were Drac, I would actually start with Claws. Because he's committed to Lucy's Revenge to this, so he is here to fight. He wants to deal damage. Oh. That's actually another good option. Because... does he want to let you get the plotting? Okay. Yeah. The ideal would be for the hunter for Goldong to have a pistol, but in that particular case, but either that or you just dump a heavenly host on him and accept that he gets the plotting. Either that or a knife, whatever. Just accept the plotting. Just give him as much damage as you can. And the thing is, with Dracula being at such high HP, I mean, even despite Lucy's revenge, he can. Oh, nice. Well done, Sky. Yeah, that was doubtless to play around a heavenly host. Okay. Okay. So yeah, and this is why this is a very risky stratagem that Wckaczek has employed. Because once you have spent your strength killing the first hunter like that, after all that's it has a rifle too. What the? Wckaczek is evidently surprised by that. So yeah, this could be Skybreaker's comeback. If you don't get enough momentum as Drac in through the first volley when you do the strategy, okay, Mezzed, okay. And he has a knife, he has a rifle, and he has one other thing, yet unknown. Yeah, try to get the bite. Okay, so he can prevent the bite with Lucy's revenge, but Dracula gets another point. Yes, he is that Golem didn't get a bite token by. Okay, so it's going to be hard to say who's ahead now. I mean, mind you, if one of these is a vampire, that means that Wckaczek is. If Arna is a vampire, I mean that means that she'll be really at 8 or 9 influence. I mean, also there could be a hoax. You can't just completely ignore the trail without having some major concerns. The hunters have spent a lot of strength now. Will Drac move to his lair in Bucharest now? I got some revenge from me. He got net 4 damage in that fight, and Golem didn't take any damage from Drac himself. He took damage from the encounters, but yeah, and the fact that he had a rifle meant that he could have done it, but he tricked Wckaczek into thinking he didn't have one. Okay. So now the only trail Dracula has is Klausenberg. That's the good news. The bad news is that he's all the way up to 9. And if he gets another a reckless vampire point, another bite point, yeah, going to his lair at Bucharest, then he simply has to survive to week 4. I mean, mind you, that is still a long way away. We are not even in week 3 yet. So gracious, it's hard to say which way this will go. Oh, renewed vigor. Can he get some of the other hunters over there? That's the question now. And look at Goldong's hand. Despite the fact that he played 2 combat events, he's just refilled. Van Helsing just gave him everything he's got. So Goldong is holding half of the events that the hunters have. Yeah, this is Skybreaker's choosing to play aggressive, and try to keep harassing Drac. If he had, this is actually a game where Sister Agatha would have been superb. I mean, how many fang attacks have we seen that managed to connect? That would be he would have at the very least 3. Okay, yep, escape route. Makes sense. Saboteur. that's not ideal considering that this is renewed vigor, but oh well. Evidently, by the looks of how long he took to confirm that, Godami is likely holding a forewarned. Okay, so there's a wrath on a new vampire, and how many stakes have been discarded? 2? Okay, so there's still enough stakes, like, at least in the deck, and possibly within people's hands, to deal with the 2 vampires that are out. And the rats, well, the rats don't have any mature effect, so you can just let that go if need be. So I hope that you have some, like, a sense of emergency or something, like. Discarding a stake? What? Because of that, I'm going to guess that Seward is holding on to the last one. What would be extremely good for the Hunters here is if they have CG. Okay, the fact that he went to Venice and not Munich seems to say that he has excellent weather to go across the Valona. Either that or he's just doing it that way. Because seemingly we haven't seen a single horse roll yet. So it would appear as if he's, like, electing to go by rail, and I speak of the devil. Looks like I spoke a little bit too soon there. Okay, so he can. A shame. If Van Helsing had a charred carriage, he could actually get in there. But the fact that he doesn't have any events means that charred carriage or sense of emergency, and he could make this a 2v1, which could definitely mean getting in some serious damage to Dracula. Okay, yeah, going to go help Mina, get things organized and such. So Mina will obviously be leaving the hospital. Or at least so I would think. He appears to be thinking of doing hospital supplies. Staying in there one day. Okay. Yep. Yeah, this will be interesting. Because Dracula still has feed available. That's one thing that's... So if Gul'dan takes something of a battering this time... Okay, what sort of stuff do you have now? Lucky find. Alrighty. Yeah, this will make him mix it up a little. I'm expecting that there will likely be at least one horse discarded as a result of this. Because we just haven't seen... The only horse roll we've seen was from Van Helsing. Is it just that they don't have the horses? Alright, let's... Okay, he discarded a rifle. So... Yep, 2 horses in the discard. Oh boy. It is very rare that you see this type of thing. Oh boy. Oh no. This is definitely an example of a very unusual Fear of Dracula game. But that's Wckaczek for you. He almost always does something weird that you just normally wouldn't see, and some of the time, and and a good amount of the time it does end up working out. So what would he take that he discarded a rifle for? And Wckaczek now knows that he does not have a horse, because he discarded 2 horses with that lucky find, and Van Helsing has the 3rd one. So what is Gul'daming's 3rd item? He could have had a heavenly host and could have dumped it on, and potentially could have dumped it on him. Strength. Oh, heavenly host. Take 2 damage and Drac takes 4. I would actually be half tempted if I were a Gul'daming to accept a crucifix if you had drawn one, but obviously there are 2 in the discard, so that's not what's happened. But I'd actually be tempted by a crucifix. That would definitely make a nice surprise. Fangs and punch. That's not good. That is not for the hunters. So the question is, does Gul'daming have some anti-claw thing that is not some anti-claw thing that is not a dodge? Okay, mesmerize and oh, he has another rifle. Okay. Yeah, I suppose he anticipated that Dracula would do claws there. I would be tempted to do punch here as Gul'daming, because Dracula knows that you are incentivized to dodge in case of a claw attack, and the hunters know that Drac knows that Great Strength is gone and Lucy's Revenge is gone, so Drac is incentivized to do claws to just try to kill. Okay, claws was dodged, and now I suppose you just do dodge. I suppose from here you just do play the rifle to guarantee that he can't. But the problem with the rifle is that then he can get in a bite, which would give him that 1 point that I spoke of earlier. Oh, Aggie, where were you this game? This would have been a superb game for Aggie. Okay, escape is missed. Alright. Evidently didn't have any more good options. Okay, so you've gotten some solid damage, which is good. That's good. I'm going to guess. I'm guessing, this is a guess, that Dracula is going to feed. Mind you, that does put the risk of Van Helsing railing in to help out into play, and then it would be a 2-on-1. So even though he would have 11 HP, you could take a serious amount of damage. I mean, the hunters do need to get rid of Klausenberg. Otherwise, I mean, if either of those vampires mature, it's game over. I assume that Van Helsing will draw a ticket here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's definitely been fewer Drac events than you would expect. Or actually, I'm considering how little supplying the hunters have done. Not so much. Oh, hypnosis. Well, that's interesting. Why? When was... Another potential hazard is Seward does have a couple of event cards, and if he has a chariot carriage, he can actually reach Bucharest. And if they have the other renewed vigor, I think that he will either feed in an attempt to finish off Gul'daming, or which that would put him one shy. Or I was expecting a wolf form as the alternative. I'm guessing that this last event card of Gul'daming's is a forewarned, and that he went to, and now he's going to check Constanta. Either that, or he's just going to supply, so that he can find the fourth state. Either find the fourth stake, or just get the means to just kill this Reckless, because, as previously stated, the hunters have a good deal of time. That is the advantage that they have. But Sky hasn't really been taking advantage of it yet. You don't have to chase after him this moment, just this instant. And what with the situation with the horses being either in the discard or one of them being with Van Helsing is very awkward, to say the least. I would supply, recover, oh, no, trying to find him. What made you think that he would go to Glatz? I'm not sure. I definitely would have checked it. I would have definitely checked Constanta. Unfortunately, the problem here is that Sky, especially since there's only one horse, Sky is really overcommitting into the east. I think that Dracula will be going to sea soon, and then he'll circle around, and the hunters may struggle to keep up. Yeah, I think that this is a serious mistake. Gul'daming should have just supplied, rested, supplied, and supplied and rested by night. Supply by day, rest by night for a couple days. If you're lucky, and the fourth stake is still in that among those 6 cards, you find it, stake this. Meanwhile, Mina and Helsing supply up for a couple prepare themselves, and then 2v1 the Cloudenberg Vampire. And then you can focus on Dracula again. I can't say I like this. Okay, checking Belgrade as he could have gone there. Mina, seriously, are you going to try to seek him out with only a pistol that he knows you have? Okay, thank you. Okay. Now Gul'daming can rest, get out of one claw equals death range. This is... Yeah, I think this definitely could have been better played by Sky so far. I mean, it's not over, but I can't say that I like his being so as aggressive as this. With chances are, I think that he's just going to be hopping off into the Black Sea right now. I mind you, that means that he'll be taking even more damage, but the hunters are now very close. Oh boy. At a guess that'll be a hide card. He's risking saying one more day. So, as Gul'daming, if you must do this playstyle of being so aggressive, then he could rail to Constanta if he has a yellow 2 ticket. He could just go back to Bucharest, but then he'll get ambushed by the Reckless again in an attempt to gain a point. Oh boy. Oh, not there. Interesting. In that case, perhaps he went Sofia Varna? He actually could be in Bologna, waiting for Seward to land on him. But mind you, trying to pull that one on Seward would be a very risky business. He has 4 item cards that you don't know a thing about what they are, apart from the discard pile. Your only clue is the discard pile and what other people have shown. You have no. Which, mind you, that does help narrow it down quite a bit, but it doesn't completely do it. Is Van Helsing gonna rail to Varna and try to pick a 1v1 there? Will Mina try to chase after him with a pistol and 1 other item? I think that he's committing to trying to. Oh, daytime trade? Okay, that's a bit odd, but alright. Okay. Yeah, so I would assume that he went to Sofia. Oh, scouts, okay. Now we can shed some light on the subject of where he is. Went to Salonika. So now Drac cannot. Unless he's sitting on a fog, then he is almost certainly going to leave and go to sea, leaving them with the problem that they still have to deal with the Klausenberg vamp tomorrow. They will not be able to leave it any longer. The good news is that's a new vampire, not a reckless. The bad news, there's a rats there. And well, you get only the 1 shot, and you will almost certainly have to. You're almost certainly going to have to night fight it, so it's not going to be. So it's not going to be easy. Okay. This is. Okay, just trading with Seward, because if Drac does say, like, perhaps if he feeds before going to sea, I would assume that would be what he would do if he's staying there. I'm guessing that was a forewarned trade. He traded it off of Goldong during the day, so that he could trade it to Seward during the night. Yeah, I think that makes sense. But frankly, I think that he is just going to leave. Oh, no. Okay, then. Alright, then. But if all Van Helsing needs is a yellow 2 ticket to get in there as well. But okay, but this is going to be a difficult decision. I'm guessing that that Wckaczek will not ambush Seward. He's going to wait till Van Helsing comes, if he does come. What I would do is I would assume that's a fog and assume that he knows that you don't have forewarned. You don't have any events. So I would go to Klausenberg with Mina to deal with the new vampire, because you are just inviting him to fog you if you go to. That's actually not a bad move. Going to block Valona, make it so you can't go there. And lay down a fog there. Okay, I suppose I can see that. Okay. I hope, Mina, that you have a stake to be doing this. I hope, Skybreaker, that Mina has a stake for her to be doing this. Okay, go ahead and reveal the pistol that he knows you have. Just because. But he knows you have a pistol. Okay, so if Mia has a stake, then this move is justified. But if not, then the hunters are in big trouble. Because then it would be down on Seward to kill him now, single-handedly. That is a very tall order, even from Seward. Plotting and okay, yeah. Okay, so that says, yes, Mina does have a stake. And although plotting was definitely... He must have had a very bad hand, because he knows that Mina has a pistol, which counts as plotting. He also could have punched. Okay. Now let's see how Seward fares. Let's see what happens. I would assume that Seward has a Heavenly Host. None were discarded apart from the one that Gul'daming played during combat. So I would assume that he has that. He will also very likely have the last knife. There's no holy bullets involved because there still hasn't been an iron deck reshuffle. I'm going to guess. I'm pretty sure that he'll have a garlic. Okay, fangs into punch. Okay, so that's net +1 health for Drac. Man, great. If Drac would be dead. Drac would be like on the assumption that the same moves happened, which they wouldn't. But it wouldn't be that case. That wouldn't be the case. But if Aggie had been in this game, okay, a pistol. Okay, once again, and that just in this case it breaks even. But I mean, this isn't going well for Seward. But now that's both fangs, so he's free to play as Heavenly Host. And Drac cannot... I mean, Drac can escape. He could just do an escape his miss to try to dodge the Heavenly Host. Escape his miss or escape his bats. Either one. Yeah. Okay, so that just went in Drac's favor. Okay, and Seward does indeed have the last knife. So, yeah, I think that was a poor decision. So unless Mia has a stake, or somehow, by some miracle, manages to night fight a new vampire 1v1 and kill it, then this is... we'll see what Mina does, but if he doesn't do anything, then that's just it. It's over. And even if she does have a stake, then there's the Bucharest vampire to worry about. Yeah, with 12 health, I'm pretty sure that Wckaczek will be perfectly comfortable going out to sea. And, well, he only needs to go as far as the Tyrrhenian to just go to Genoa and start prancing around willy-nilly in the center of the board. Okay, good. Mia did have the stake. Yeah, you should have shown that pistol earlier. That would have saved you 2 health. That was a mistake, Sky. He knows you have the pistol. You should have shown it in the first place. Okay, so that is that. Klausenberg cleared. But now Dracula knows that all 4 stakes are in the discard pile. So chances are they're going to have to try to night fight this. They do have 1 extra day to try to get something, but that won't be enough time for them to, since all of them are in small towns apart from Gul'daming, That's not enough time to get back to those stakes. This is not good for the hunters. And the thing is, Drac may be perfectly comfortable just trying to pick another fight. He may just lay down the hide card. Or just wolf form up to Sarajevo. Because it is now obvious that the hunters do not have good movement. Or possibly wolf form to Athens. He may just try to just stay on land. I would definitely at least consider doing a wolf form. I would genuinely consider doing a wolf form to Sarajevo and then just go up by land. But no, going by sea. I am completely understandable, but I would say that a wolf form would be worth considering because they definitely have to scramble to clear this reckless here, and they can't team up on it. Obvious, unlike new vampires, you have to fight the reckless ones 1v1 for anyone who doesn't know. This is not good. Oh boy. Oh boy. Rufus Smith. Okay, well that is definitely well timed. That will at least, if nothing else, it will make sure that Wckaczek gets slightly lower IDS points. Very nicely timed. Just as he goes out to sea, you draw Rufus. That is definitely excellent timing. I imagine that Skybreaker is pretty happy to see that. Whoa! Really? Okay. Who's going to deal with Bucharest, though? I mean, presumably Goldaming and or Mina, but that might cost them more than they can afford. Okay. What I would be tempted to do as Dracula is go to Adriatic and then land back in Valona. Let them go chasing, and then obviously wolf forming in, like wolf form to Sarajevo, from Adriatic Sea. Okay. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. This is... Okay, so... If Wckaczek can keep that Reckless Vampire alive, he wins. Okay, yeah, Rufus coming into play. Frankly, since the hunters haven't been supplying too much, didn't supply all that much in the early game, I think that they should. I think that more likely than not, Wckaczek will have this. I mean, if he went Terrenian, he just goes here, wolf forms to Marseille, and this on his next turn, then goes about. I mean, but it's not over. If they can kill this, it's not over. But if not, well, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he laid down another fighter vampin, another Reckless or Aristocratic, and Sophia as a backup vamp. Like, it's possible that Goldami has Heroic Leap to deal with this. That would solve the problem of this. And because the thing is, so long as it's an Aristocratic or a Reckless vampire, he doesn't need a rumor token for it to give him all the remaining influence he needs to win. This is... Wckaczek chose not to ambush, so it was to force them to night fight it if they want to clear it. Yeah, and then there's the matter of in the event. Now we're in week 4, so and the thing is, Goldong also doesn't have the most health, and yet he has no choice but to do this. Doesn't have anything to help him. He just gotta fight it out. Because an alternative win condition is if the Reckless Vampire manages to flat out kill him, then that also will score Dracula 4 points. That's an alternative way for him to try to do it. But I think it's more likely that we're just going to see the vampire just play Strengths and Mesmerizes and then escape his mist on round 4. Or at least try to do that. It will be... Goldaman could have a Heavenly Host. This is... My goodness. Okay, starting off with the plotting. Oh, goodbye. Okay, so we found another Heavenly Host. So that's definitely very good news for the hunters. Goldaman managed to clear this unscathed, from at least no more scathed than he was already. So that is definitely very nice. Yeah, brow wife goes Skybreaker because he was because if the vampire had fanged, obviously that's just game over. But again, like I said, Sophia could be a reckless vampire or an aristocratic. Salonika could be as well. He could simply have placed 2 backup vamps that they now had to deal with. There's admittedly one of them, a new vampire won't quite win Dracula game yet, but then after that, unless they do a vampire lair, well, like any reckless vampire ambush, a reckless vampire ambush, or just anything. He just needs 1 point. This is okay. Yeah, and the thing is, he has to go and check Sophia because he can't risk that being aristocratic. And the thing is, looking at the discard pile, an aristocratic is... I'd be very surprised if Wckaczek hasn't drawn an aristocratic by now. I mean, he could just be popping them into these layers just to filter his hand a little. But given the situation, I'd be a little bit surprised if there isn't an aristocratic in one of these 2 spots. Okay, wolf horn ashore. Yeah. And the thing is, this could be from any one of these 3 Cs. For all we know, that's a fake wolf form and he's in Constanta or Varna. No way of knowing. At least not right now. But I mean, if they had Money Trail, I mean that'd be nice. But Goldaman can't afford to do that. He has to go to Sophia and make sure that it's not an aristocratic vampire, or for that matter, the third reckless. I mean, if they can clear Salonika and Sophia, they have a chance. But or simply, so long as those 2 aren't the vampires, even if they mature, it's not that it's not game over. Or I mean, it'd be alright if one of them was a new vampire, but I alright in terms of I don't know if I would have done that, but okay, you Sky. Yeah. What reason would he have to go to CAG with when you're right there? No, he would want a more out of the way location. Okay, is it Van Helsing's turn? No, and it's not yet. Okay, Mina, you should be moving to a big city to be getting more items. I don't know what you're doing sitting there in Klausenberg. Spy. Alright. Discarding a rifle. And Salonica... I think Salonica will either be desecrated soil or a fog. Considering that he stayed there to feed when there were 2 hunters in very close proximity. Yeah, there's now only one heavenly host left, and we don't yet know its whereabouts. But one of these hunters is holding it. And Goldawing still has his knife, so that it's not Goldawing who has it. Okay. Alright. Okay. I think that my guess is that Wckaczek is at Sarajevo, about to move out of, or possibly about to do a hide, because I expect that my guess is that he went Adriatic. See, rather than Mediterranean. After seeing. Because he likely knew that Seward would move on to the Mediterranean Sea, since due to how he was like stalking him by going to the Ionian Sea immediately when he was before he had moved to second sea space. Honestly, so Goldawing has to go and deal with Salonica, because if that's an aristocratic or a reckless. I mean, mind you, Goldawing has very little hope of dealing with a reckless with only a knife. this is the hunters are definitely in a very bad position, and well, kind of have been ever since that lucky find discarded all the horses, like all but one of the horses. The fact that they were buried so deep was definitely very bad for Sky. And well, I think Sky has also just been a bit too aggressive over in the East. I think that I would check Zurich real quick if I were Van Helsing. Or I would likely just supply. Like, he could also check Munich, see if he went to Adriatic and Wolfhorn to Munich. And it looks as if that's what he's... Oh. Yeah, he's like seemingly desperately searching to try to finish him. But the thing with 7 health, 1v1, I mean, he's not within heroic leap range. Okay. As for Mina, I would definitely... You have a hand full of events. I would definitely try to make your way towards another hunter to use hypnosis if you don't have money trail. I would have moved back to Budapest a while back. I actually would have moved to Budapest a while ago to be drawing items as well as events. To me, it appears as if perhaps Skybreaker is a little bit rusty, and a bit out of practice. This is only the first game. There's going to be 9 games. There's going to be a total 18 games per team, 9 games per player. So even if he loses this first one, which I think sadly is very likely, at this stage, there's always another one. But then again, I do know that. Oh, okay. Going to send Mina to go to Munich? Question mark. If you're thinking of doing that, you should have sent Van Helsing to Munich. I mean, okay. It's definitely a risky business. Yeah, he was... Yep, fog. Very... Yeah, I think what Sky needs to do is next turn is tomorrow have Van Helsing and Mina meet up in Munich and use hypnosis to figure out where, more or less, where he is, so that you can figure out what's going on. And here's another really nasty thing for the hunters. Since the draw pile for the item deck is out, Wckaczek, if he looks through and counts carefully, he can tell exactly what cards the hunters have in their hands. The only question will be which hunters have which ones. I mean, some of which he will know already. He knows Goldaming has one of the knives. He knows Stewart has a knife. So he knows that... Oh. Okay. That would have been better on someone else, but okay. Possible just horse demeanor, and then you can hypnosis by day. Yeah, that's better. It's better if you can hypnosis by day. Thing is, at this point, I mean, we know that he didn't Wolfhorn to Marseille, but there are all sorts of places he could regions. The region won't, in truth, won't tell him all that much right now, as to exactly where he is. I suppose it could tell him a reasonable amount, but yeah, hypnosis will definitely be. This is definitely a good time for hypnosis if that's what he's thinking of doing. Okay. Okay, yep, looks as if that's what he has in mind, or at least doing a psychic scan. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, wax cylinders? That could definitely be very handy. Oh, hiding at Munich. I have suspected that was the case. Okay, well now they know. So now there's no point in doing hypnosis, but what they can do is do a trade items around to make it less, so that he doesn't know, who has what. Barring of course the showed item, the revealed item, that is. So it would appear that he went to Rennian, Wolfhorn to Milan, and then went to Munich and hid. Okay. So I would have Mina rest. Now that you did the trade with Van Helsing, you can just trade. Now you can just recover a bit of HP. So Dracula is not all that far away. The bad news is the hunters don't have the best movement. If they had horses, like if these three hunters had horses, Dracula would now be in a tight spot. He's used wolf form. I mean, admittedly, from Munich there are a lot of different places you can go. Yes, it is true, but they would be very hot on your heels, and at least Van Helsing will be. Well, still will be, as I imagine that he will. I mean, he may end up just feeding and then using, and then like say bring it on, basically saying bring it on, and then it's a matter of whether or not he guesses forewarned correctly. With, at a guess, the second fog. But would he have felt that threatened? Yeah, and Seward could have the second sense of emergency. Although, a charred carriage would also do the job. Because Milan has a rail connection with Zurich, which in turn goes to Strasbourg and then Milan, and then Munich. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think that Wckaczek will likely choose to hide, or not hide. He already did that. To feed, just say, "Bring it on! I'm ready. I'll fight." Mind you, there is of course there is of course the risk that Goldaming might pick up Aggie, since and that would if Sister Agatha had been in play early this game, I mean obviously Wckaczek would have played differently to play according to the rules of what to do when Aggie's in play. But if he had done it, but if Aggie had been in play all this time, the Hunters would quite possibly have won by now. I mean, if Dracula had played the same, which he almost certainly would not have. Okay, so he did move. Question is where? There are 5 different options. There's Nuremberg, Zurich, Milan, Venice, and Zagreb. Venice and Milan, one of those is the Wolfhorn location. So long as Skybreaker works that out, he knows that. A shame that Goldaming didn't draw us hired scouts. We've had only 2 of those. Yeah, there's still 2 more in there. Yeah, check. Okay, so in that case, I would if you are determined to pick a fight with him, I would go to Venice, because Milan seems to. Then again, it depends on whether he came from the Adriatic or Tyrrhenian Sea. I mean, actually, the newspaper reports would have been very handy here, because then you could have checked which sea it was he came from. Because if he came from the Tyrrhenian, if he came from the Adriatic, he would not go to Venice. He would, or at least most likely. I think the best bet would be at Nuremberg, actually. And that seems to be what. Okay, Van Helsing checked it. Check Zagreb. And it's at present at this point it's just dodge and weave, try to avoid. Okay, so that rules out him going that direction, which is definitely very nice. If the Hunters had picked up the CG, then I might actually use it, despite the fact that that we know that they have only one heavenly host to back it up, because this means that he either went to Venice or he went to Zurich. I might blockade Strasbourg and Geneva. Okay. That's considering that Seward, that's not a big deal. Revealing a pistol. It is really not a big deal. 2 damage. Yeah, hurts a little bit, but Skybreaker is still not out of this yet. But the timer's ticking. We're now at Friday of week 3. He doesn't have that much time left. And in the event he went to Venice, the Ionian will be sliding off in time next turn anyway, so he can go to Adriatic and then just wait out the clock until it's week 4. Then he could just land at CAG, and I'm not sure whether Hyde will be off by then or not, but I mean, he could go all sorts of different places. Mind you, there is Rufus in play, so doing a sea voyage would mean low IDS, but it's the win that matters most. Okay, Winch moved another space. My guess would be Strasbourg, because only one hunter can get to you without using some sort of event. Either that or Genoa. He went Venice and then Genoa after Seward vacated it. But trying to risk Seward is definitely... But Venice would definitely been a daring move. And one would assume that somewhere along there, here, quite possibly under the Hyde card, is the second fog. So more likely than not, at this point, he doesn't have a fog. Okay. Okay, what event is this, I wonder? Interesting. I'm assuming that that's a newspaper report, and he can use it at dusk to figure out which way he came from. With Seward, I think I would check... Oh, there he is. Oh, but there's fog. Oh! Oh, no. Well, at least Van Helsing now knows which way to go. We now know that it was Zurich. And since he... And the nice thing is, he can... That means that... Okay, so he can... So long as Van Helsing gets good horse rolls, he can move to Geneva this turn, and then, and then next turn, there will be no fog next turn. But but there is a bit of a problem. With that fog up, you have to travel through Marseille to get to Genoa via horses. So that there could be a little bit of a problem there. I'm not sure if Skybreaker will realize that yet, but by going to Geneva, you can reach anywhere but Genoa by horse. That Dracula can move to. Oh, unless of course he goes out to sea. Which honestly he might. He might just duck into the Mediterranean and then go to Spain. Because and that will be the exact timing for wolf form. Okay, so he now knows that there's no fog here, and we know that there's no bats as he used both of those in the early game. So there could well be a saboteur. Okay, ambushing Mina. Okay, I imagine the Skybreaker is actually rather happy about that. Oh, I see. He wanted to make sure of the order. Okay, so Mina had 2 pistols. She still... So that weakens her a little, but it's not the biggest deal. So now, what is there at Zurich? I mean, we still haven't seen any of the 3 aristocratic vampires, so I would guess that that's what that is. or no, he would lay something down to try to protect himself, but he's out of spies. It's possible it's the second wolves. I'm guessing he said that because he was tempted to go into combat with Seward one-on-one. Yeah, so if I were Drac, I would now move to Genoa. They would need to. The hunters would need to surprise with a sense of emergency, or well, Van Helsing could admittedly get there on simply a reasonable, even a halfway on simply a yellow 2 ticket. But Mina can't get there without a sense of emergency or a chartered carriage, and she has only a pistol, so that's not that much of a threat. So, he might go to Toulouse, which, honestly, if he stays on land, I expect that Sky will likely check Toulouse with Van Helsing. At this point, Goldaming's just out of the picture. He's far too far away. If he had a horse, maybe, but he is way too far away to get there in time. Unless he got the second excellent weather, that would mean that he could zip over to the Tyrrhenian Sea in one move. It's at this stage, I'm going to. I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen a desecrated soil yet. Like, I'm a bit surprised that wasn't what was at Milan, because unless they're literally the bottom 2 cards of his encounter deck, he's bound to have drawn at least one by now. And it's possible he stuffed it into a layer, but that's I wouldn't do that. Gracious, this has just been non-stop battle. Skybreaker playing this very aggressively as hunters, and alright, we'll see whether the Drac stays on land or not. That's the primary question. So, to get to Marseille in 2 moves from Munich, he has, and with Milan already on the trail, he has to have gone to Zurich. Fee, okay, yeah, taking advantage of the fog. I see. Yeah. Actually makes sense. And what's more, okay, let me see. Sunday, okay, Hyde will not, let me see. Sunday, slide, go to Mediterranean. Monday, slide off, go to CAG, and then on Tuesday, Hyde for the win. So yeah, I think that unless Goldong may yet play a small role by getting, he could go to on his way to CAG. Okay, now after that it's just too late. If they have and remember that the hunters. Remember that you may remember that the hunters spent the first excellent weather very early on, simply to hop Van Helsing out of the UK. If they had that now, they would have a much better chance. I mean, there is the second excellent weather. It's possible that they have it. Don't know. But if they don't... Okay. Huh. Well... Okay, in that case, what do you do? Makes sense, I suppose. Wolfform is coming off the trail, and that will mean that if he goes into Spain, Wolfform's into Spain, he can give chase. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Huh. Honestly, I think that we might actually see Dracula Darkhall. He'll get a Drac event, and he's still... let me see, it's at dusk that the fog fades, so he'll still be under the protection of the fog. So yeah, I might just Dark Call, get a Drac event, then move twice for the win. Starting with a Wolfform move. Oh wait, no. Oh, it's faded now. In that case, never mind. I definitely would not do that, because that would be... You'd be inviting Seward and Van Helsing to a 2v1 with you at only 8 health in that situation. In that case, I think that would be enough for them to pull this back last minute. But if Wckaczek has worked it out like I have, and I think that he may well have, to orchestrate all this layer stuff, you have to calculate exactly when things slide off very carefully. So I would not be surprised if he has worked it out. I think that he'll likely just go to sea, land at CAG, and then hide for the win. Yeah, whatever this encounter is, unless he moves by sea twice, which I don't see why he would, then this won't mature by the time the game is over. I hope for the hunter's sake that Seward is holding the second sense of urgency. I mean, did we see? Yeah, we only saw one, yes? I mean, it could be what that is. I mean, and the thing is, it's still not over. Not for certain. I mean, if he stays out at sea 2 days, for 2 space sea moves, then he will force them to check out Zurich, as that will be an alternative win condition if it's a vampire. Okay, so now he'll almost certainly Wolfform, or he'll either go to sea to orchestrate the CAG plan I described, or he'll Wolfform to obfuscate where he's going. Yeah, Mia has now picked up a new item and event, so there's possibility of the second planned ambush coming up on her. Yeah. Okay, he's updating his layers now, taking off the Milan layer, which makes sense as that's one more place that he can go. Although, mind you, that would be a fake wolf form if he did it, which would be kind of weird. So the hunters have to kill him sometime. I mean, if he continues to move by land, they have to kill him in the next 2 days. Okay, yep, wolf form. So where does Dracula did he go? The hunters do know that fog is out of the question. There's no fog, no spies, no bodyguards. The worst thing that it could be would be a vampire. The worst thing it could be is the third reckless vampire. So Goldaming should just supply, because, well, we haven't seen the second renewed vigor yet. It's possible that they Skybreaker may have to resort to night supplying in order to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In order to try to hunt up the second renewed vigor, or possibly a CG. But okay, so a Seward, I would likely rail to Paris, or possibly rail to Bordeaux. One thing that would be very useful in this case is speed telegraph. You could have Mina check Nuremberg. You could and Van Helsing check, I think, Nantes. Check some of the most out of the way spots. And then Seward can react and then make his move based off of that. So actually, what I would have Seward do is supply. There's a chance he might find a horse last minute to help him get in position. He could draw RV. He could draw CG. Simply a scouts, a speed telegraph for next turn. All sorts of things he could draw that would be very useful for the final day. Moving to Genoa. Interesting. I think that he's... Okay, so Seward's going to cover Italy. So Van Helsing... I don't know. Personally, I would check Nantes. Either that or Saragossa, Barcelona. There are just too many places. Has he forgotten that it was a wolf form? Or actually, if he's... What if... I think this might... I think that what he should do is play Hypnosis, which seems to be what he's doing. He's gathering his hunters together so he can play Hypnosis. Mind you, if the answer is Nuremberg, then even Van Helsing with his horse won't be able to reach him if he goes to Leipzig. So at this point, yeah, you're in a desperate situation. It's time to Night Supply. Because tomorrow is the last day you get. I mean, if you have unless that is he has the second renewed vigor already, and will be using that. Yeah. So, yeah, if he was lucky, Seward may have just drawn a horse. If he was lucky enough, then, which would mean that Seward will be able to do a kind of gotcha moment if that comes in clutch, which it could very well do that just that. In terms of having enough movement. Okay, Hypnosis, where are you? Just as I feared, it's Nuremberg. Which that made sense. Mina was the one that had only 2 items, one of which is a pistol, and therefore not that big a deal. So now he can just move up to Leipzig. And unless they have the second renewed vigor, they can't do a thing about it. Making it possible that he's coming back to Zurich. But why would you do that? Just play it safe. So, as long as they don't have the second renewed vigor, they would... Mina can't do a thing. She's delayed from Hypnosis. If you go to Leipzig, Van Helsing needs... Okay, surprising return. Okay. Get it. Yeah, and now he can check Leipzig. And if that's where he is, then he will need it. He will need it to get a... He'll need to have a sense of emergency on Van Helsing to be able to engage combat. Unless he has the second renewed vigor. That's the big question. Does he have that second renewed vigor or not? Yeah. What else could that have been? I would have checked Frankfurt or Frankfurt or Leipzig, uh, or possibly Prague. I mean, this is one way or another. This is the last day of the game. And since there's no renewed vigor, if he did indeed go up to Leipzig, they need specifically the second sense of emergency on Van Helsing. Or wait, no, char carriage would also do the job. Or wait, no, it goes to Zurich first. 1, 2. Okay, yeah, that's enough. So, but only Van Helsing can even initiate combat, which is not good. Not good. And what's more, chances are Wckaczek has laid down on one of these spaces has laid down the third reckless vampire, so and that is another course to his last point. So even if they do somehow, even if they do find him, yeah, Seward. There's no chance that Seward can and get to him if he has done what is just out of range. Yeah, that's the best thing for him to do. You want to find his scouts so that you can find out where he's gone from there. Okay, didn't get the scouts. Alright, VH, do you have it or not? Fast horse. Yeah, just play to your outs and see if he went to Strasbourg, perhaps. Or if he did really go back to Zurich. Okay. Nope. Alright, that's game. Alright. GG well played both. GG well played both. That's it. Even if there's a CG, so long as he hasn't gone into Prague and they haven't found the stuff. Sitting here? Yeah, that was... I second that. I second that. I second that. I second that. Okay. Yep. That was the biggest thing. Yep, that was the biggest thing. There are other things I didn't agree with, apart from, well, how due to how early he used Lucky Find, he just couldn't have horses. That such aggressive play like that was, in my opinion, not worth it. Yep. So he went to Leipzig. It's a matter of whether or not he had renewed vigor, and then whether or not he had sense of emergency. But yep, that's that. Wckaczek has taken this a win for Wckaczek and his team. So yeah, I that was a very unusual Fury of Dracula game. It is very rare that you see that sort of stuff. So I hope everyone watching has enjoyed this and enjoyed the show and just the tension of that late game. So thank you. This gives an let me see, what was Dracula health at the end was 9. So that's a 9 IDS win for Wckaczek and his team. There are 2 other games happening today. Wckaczek might be streaming one, and if so, I'll stream the other. One way or another, I'm going to be streaming one game. His teammate Terminus is facing off against Skybreaker's teammate, who has Adam. His game name is a little bit different and hard to pronounce, so I'm just going to go with Adam. So Terminus will be attempting to take that add-on. Meanwhile, and if Wckaczek can stream that, fine. But on the other hand, Andrzejat from wait a minute. One moment. Randiv from the News Fair 2 will be hunting Andrzejat from Caligari Comment Special. The Terminus, they're very close together. Terminus versus Adam is 2040 UTC, and Randiv versus Andrzejat is 2115 UTC. Yeah, well, they're talking about. So I'm going to be streaming one or the other. I don't know whether or not Wckaczek will be able to stream the other one. Yeah, this was a good game. Skybreaker fought hard, but it just wasn't enough. If only Aggie. This is one of those games. This is one of those games. Not always, but in this case, but in this case, yes. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching this. Hope you've enjoyed it, and with the very unique gameplay. We gotta compare those. Thank you everyone for watching, and catch you in the next stream. I don't know don't know for sure yet which one it will be, but it's slightly more likely it'll be Randa versus but it'll be the Randa versus Andrzejat match. But regardless, I will be posting up a link to the live stream in the community channel, so you can find out then, and just keep Discord open, and wait for the ping. Until then, folks, bye.